It's a question that I have wondered for a long time since I got into this sport from distance running. Is there doping in triathlon? As of this morning, the unequivocal answer is unfortunately yes. Collin Chartier, the winner of last year's Ironman Mont, Tremblant, and the PTO US Open in Dallas, two huge races, especially the US Open, has been popped for EPO, is banned for 3 years. Collin's been in the sport for a while. He was very good. He was getting podiums, but he wasn't winning huge races until last year when he won Ironman Mont Tremblant after joining coach Mikael Eden, who is the brother of Gustav Eden, one of the two Norwegians who have absolutely been blowing up the triathlon scene the past few years. So, I mean, it wasn't such a massive jump. Like, I would say it wasn't an unbelievable jump. Collin has been a very good athlete, a great swimmer, and a great runner, and it seemed like his cycling was coming around. But really, the huge race was when he came out of nowhere to win the PTO US Open in Dallas in 100-degree temps over Sam Long and Magnus Ditlev in August of last year. So that was a race that really catapulted him onto the scene, and then a lot of people grew to know him from Lionel Sanders' vlogs as they trained together leading up to Kona. But anyway, he was a big name by that point. So not long after the news came out that he tested positive for EPO, Collin himself posted on Instagram, basically coming clean. You have to respect it. He just posted a text on Instagram saying, "I am sorry." He's deeply sorry to his family, friends, supporters. He admitted that he did test positive out of competition. He's suspended for 3 years, but has no plans to come back to racing triathlon professionally. Collin says he started using EPO in November after feeling like he lost his way in the sport. He was injured, sick, and felt that he had no choice. He had to do this if he was going to have the success that he wanted to in the coming years. Feelings of intense pressure and expectations to win the biggest races, along with feeling unhappy with the personal sacrifices he had made. In his mind, he thought that he had to deny himself friendships, happiness, socializing, and having fun to be the best, and lost his love for the sport. It became all or nothing. He went all in, so much so that now he's all out. You have to respect it. You have to respect it. He even references at the bottom that other people who have been caught have given bullshit excuses like a tainted burrito or a COVID vaccine, which obviously are just not true. He absolutely owned up to it. So there really is no question now whether or not he did it. It's not up in the air. He absolutely was doping. As he says in the post, he started taking it in November of 2022, which would mean that he was clean for all of those races he won. Okay guys, quick addendum here. I'm watching this video just after I edited it, and I realized Collin in his post just says he started using this PED in November. He doesn't say what it was, and he doesn't say a year. So there is a chance that he actually did win those races not clean while he was on performance enhancing drugs, and that he is obscuring the truth of when he started using it so that he gets to keep the money he won from those races, which is a lot. That is just something to keep in mind. He didn't actually specify a year. I said November 22, and that would mean he was clean when he won those races, but we actually have no idea. So just keep that in mind. So the first thing that I thought when I saw the news is maybe you have to be doping to win a big race. None of the big names have ever been caught. I didn't think that doping was a huge issue in triathlon, but then I saw that he tested positive, and it made me think twice after how big of a jump he had made. Maybe he was doping before then, maybe not. But he says he started doping in November 22 after these big races. So he did win those races clean. Definitely makes me a bit more comfortable, gives me hope for the sport that it's not as rife with doping as distance running or cycling is, for example. I personally haven't heard rumors or rumblings of anybody else in this sport doping, none of the top names, but I can guarantee you that this is not an isolated incident. Collin is not the only person who has turned to drugs to try to enhance their performance. Again, there is nothing substantial here. I have no idea if his coach Mikael Eden knew about it, but his coach is the brother of Gustav Eden, who trains with Christian Blumenfeld. Those Norwegians have been absolutely destroying the sport. There is no evidence whatsoever that they are doping. But again, this is not an isolated incident. There are other top name professionals on the juice. There is no way that Collin is the only one who turned to drugs to do this. So yeah, it opens up the question, who else is doing it? We have no idea, unfortunately. But the good thing is that he got caught by an out of competition test, the ITA, which Ironman has contracted out to do their out of competition testing. So that's great. Ironman is spending money to try to keep their sport clean, which that's really good news. And if other people are using it, hopefully they will get caught at some point or another. The downside to that is that you do have to be good enough enough to get into the registered testing pool. I, for example, I'm a mid-pack professional triathlete. I have never been tested in or out of competition, and I probably won't be until I podium or win a race. So if you're not winning races and you are doping, I hesitate to say it's not an issue, but it's not as big of an issue as if you are winning races and taking checks and taking podiums away from people. So you do have to be at a certain level to even get caught. But I guess the positive thing is that if you are at that level and you are doping, that's when you're really doing damage, and that's when you more likely will get caught. I want to end this by saying I see when people get caught for doping, there's a lot of hate on social media, people spewing hate and vitriol directed towards the person who made possibly the worst decision that they will ever make. So let's be human, and Collin even says it in his post. He was at a super low point in his life. He was denying himself all the things that made him happy because he believes that's what he needed to do to be successful. So instead of, spewing hate and vitriol towards Collin, let's be human, let's be empathetic and understand that he does need support. And I don't think that's such a controversial thing to say, because he's not going to return to the sport. He's not going to be taking checks away from people. He's not going to be denying people from podiums. He got caught. There's nothing to worry about now. I just hope that Collin has people in his life that he can turn to for support during this time, and honestly just go back to living a normal life at some point. Personally, I feel like I have always kept track of my why I'm doing this sport. More than anything, I just love training. I love waking up every day and trying to get better. It's not so much about winning races for me. Winning races is a validation that I am going in the right direction in training, but triathlon and endurance sports in general just brings such a great quality to my life that winning and doing well in races has never really enhanced. Like, it hasn't mattered if I come 8th and win my first paycheck in a race, or if I win the race. What mattered is just that I improved and that the work is paying off. I think that's true for most people. And you can see even in Collin's post that he sort of lost track of that, and it became about winning, and it became about winning at all costs and not about happiness and fulfillment and having fun in the sport and a sense of community. So if you're going to have one takeaway from this, it's not about winning. It's not about beating other people. It's about doing as well as you are able to and having fun with it. And if you're not having fun with it, then you need to step away for a little bit. That's it. Yeah, I just wanted to spitball on this issue because it is going to be a hot topic for the next couple of days at least, if not months or years to come. I feel for Collin, but I'm very glad that there is a testing system in place that was actually able to catch him. So peace out, everybody.